So welcome back, everybody. My name is Phil Marriott, and look, it's Dina Burgess.
Hi.
I'm loving the deco. I'm loving that very kind of horror Halloween vibe going on there with your pumpkin behind.
Oh, a little pumpkin here, look. Baby pumpkin.
I love it. You're putting me to shame because I didn't carve one this year.
Well, I made pumpkin soup. I'm very virtuous. I'll only carve a pumpkin if it's one of those ones you can make food out of, because some of the new ones, it's just a carving pumpkin, and I think they're wasteful. Oh, God! Sorry. Let's just look at this.
We should say also, before we started recording, you said we might get a cat's arse in shot, and we might get a dog's arse in shot. Well, preferably a face, but let me just show you this.
Oh.
Teddy the rescue dog is joining in on our movie review today.
And we've got Dixie the rescue cat.
Oh, so cute.
My Halloween black cat. She just lets us lie down. She's got white whiskers.
What are we talking about, Dina?
We're talking about Rose, a love story. Can we say what it is?
Yeah, I think the clue is in the title, though, because we were talking about this just before we started recording. Because we were expecting different things, weren't we, maybe?
Yeah, because it describes it as a vampire movie, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think almost knowing that kind of spoils it.
I think so too.
I think if you just thought you were going into a love story, it might, in a way, be more interesting for me, because it would have turned everything upside down, because you'd have been thinking, what's this about? Because there's a lot of subtlety in it at the beginning, and you don't quite know what's going on. But because you've kind of been told what it is, it spoils it. And of course, I've spoiled it by saying that now. But I think because that's how it's going to be marketed, isn't it? So.
Well, no, absolutely, because I think all the key elements are there for it to be a really good horror film, because where they are, the location is really chilling, isn't it? It's kind of atmospheric, but I suppose that adds to the whole kind of relationship troubles that they're going through. Yeah,
I loved the fact it was set, because we weren't sure where it was set, because it's filmed in Wales. But they talk about, I think it's either Keswick or Kenilworth near the nearest town, which of course is in the Lake District. So I like the fact it was in the UK, and it's this idea of it's this cabin in the woods, which is very kind of American, isn't it? You associate it with American horror films. And Ellie said "foovies" there. That's a cross between a film and a movie, in case you wonder. so you do kind of associate the lonely gas station or petrol station and the cabin in the woods. It's all very American, but then it's like they're all talking with Northern English accents, and it's set in near Keswick, which I thought was really. I love that. I love the fact that you don't know what's going on. There's lots of strange things involving strange packages and things in jars. So that side of thing I liked, and the suspense I thought built really well. It's just. It kind of ended up being a bit of a nothing film. I suppose we should explain the plot, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah, because, it's easier said than done, maybe, though, to talk about the plot without spoiling too many things, because I think the less you know about stuff, maybe the more you will enjoy it. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, basically, we just meet this couple who are living in a cabin in the woods for some reason, very isolated. We kind of get the impression that she's not very well. She doesn't seem to be able to mix in society. This is Rose. And then her husband's always doing shady deals to get petrol and stuff delivered to the place so they don't have to go out. And then everything's turned upside down, basically, when this young woman, who's obviously running away from something, turns up. And that's basically the premise of it. But to be honest, I thought the bits before she came into the film were better.
I really liked her character. I really liked her performance as well, the girl that arrives, but I kept wondering why she was there, because obviously it's this cabin in the middle of nowhere, and I don't know whether I found that believable, the fact that
she was very obvious as a device to move the film on. I think that's the problem. I think I really enjoyed the dynamic between the couple at the beginning, and the whole building of the suspense and the relationship, because obviously they were a fairly recently married couple, and something had happened to them, and he was determined they were going to lead as normal a life as possible, but their life's by nowhere normal at all.
They had disagreements, though, because he wanted a baby and she didn't.
Yeah, but I don't think that was an issue now, given what had happened to them.
That's true. She's got bigger problems.
And I think the way that he demonstrates any fatherly instinct towards the girl that comes into the cabin probably is a good idea. They didn't have kids, really.
Like I said earlier, the clue is in the title, because I guess it is more a love story than something sinister, but obviously that sinister element plays a big part in this, doesn't it?
Yeah, I certainly thought with the London Film Festival this year, there's quite a theme of, you can't compare this to the wonderful Supernova, but it's that theme of couples who are devoted to each other and something coming between them and stopping them from living the life they want. That seems to be a bit of a theme. It's just this couldn't be more different really from Supernova. It's that idea. And the thing is, I liked a lot of the different elements of it. I liked the performances.
So the lead characters are played by Matt Stokoe, who I think has been in quite a few British TV shows. He's very easy on the eye, I have to say that.
He did help. Yeah. He did help.
And Sophie Rundle plays Rose.
It's never really properly explained what happened or how it happened.
Happened. Yeah, we didn't have there was no backstory.
There was no backstory, which in a way I quite like, but I think it just, to me, it lacked for that backstory, really. I would like just a little bit of without being predictable and going down the same route as other vampire films, I would have just liked a little bit of a clue as to, because it kind of also, at the end as well, and I won't go into the ending, but the ending as well kind of threw me into disarray, because I kind of thought, well, if that happened then, how come that hadn't happened before? And it just seemed unbelievable to me. And okay, the whole film's kind of unbelievable, but to me, I think if something is believable within the context of the world it creates, then I'll go with it. So however fantastical the story, I'll go with the story if what's happening within it is in context. But when they start throwing things or changing the rules, or maybe they weren't sure about the rules, but if that was the case, then that should have been explained, if you know what I mean. So it just seemed at the end it was a bit like, oh, okay, didn't think that was going to happen.
Yeah. But when you said about the relationship as well, because I didn't totally buy into that. I didn't feel like I believed in their relationship. I suppose they were going through troubles that no other couple would.
I think the thing about the film is it's very contrived. It was obviously trying to be a vampire movie with a difference, and like it is more of a love story than a vampire movie. The vampire thing is secondary, and we don't even really, so don't go into it thinking you're going to see a horror film or a vampire film, because it's not. It is a love story. I thought it was quite contrived. The fact that somebody else enters into their little idyllic life, that was very contrived. I thought elements of the relationship was very contrived. Like you say, there were some parts of it that were so unbelievable within the context of the story that it just felt like devices to get them from this bit to this bit. There was times when I was thinking, but you just wouldn't do that. It just wouldn't do that, And when I'm doing that, then I think, So for me, it was a bit of a. I would describe it as bad sex. Lots of anticipation, lots of suspense, excitement, and then it's a bit bleh, and it's over in seconds, and you're left thinking, what was that all about? That was really was the anticipation, to be honest.
That quote should so go on the billboard poster. Of course it won't, because it's not really selling it. But no, I agree. I kind of got bored with it. I really liked, like you say, the first segment of it. It felt very atmospheric, and I thought they built it well with the whole kind of location and everything. It was well shot, I thought. But then there wasn't really enough to keep me interested. It didn't really feel like I didn't really believe in their relationship either. It wasn't so much about their acting. I can't really pinpoint what it was. I don't know whether it was the story that I just disconnected. I just lost interest.
I thought the characters were very one-dimensional, so they were difficult to believe in because they were so one-dimensional. We only knew them in the context of what had happened to them. Because there was no backstory, we didn't know anything about who they'd been before, how their relationship had been before. When, the third character comes into the situation, we don't learn much about her. We get bits and pieces, which to me feel more like they've been flung in there to facilitate the story rather than because they'd thought about the characters. I don't think the acting is really at fault because I don't think they have a lot to work with. That's the way I looked at it, that I didn't think they had a lot to work with.
That's what frustrated me, because with Amber's character, who's played by Olive Gray, I thought she was really good, and I kind of wanted to find out more about her, because she was quite kind of edgy at the beginning. She was very standoffish, and then she became less so. She became, more trusting of them. Because
he was a grumpy sod as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I kind of like that though.
And my favourite part of the film, actually, is when they're sitting by the vegetable patch, when, ironically, he's growing garlic. We're never told why he's growing garlic, but there's a little, we better stick a bit of garlic in there.
All the signs were there, all the clues.
But I like that was quite a warm moment. I thought that was the time when I actually thought, oh, this is actually a really nice interaction between those two characters. But then it kind of went back to being a bit meh. It had a little bit of a feel, but by no means as good as like Winchwood and Splice, that kind of British horror feel to it. But it never lived up to to their standard, really.
Yeah, I completely agree. For that reason, I'm going to give it a 5. I wanted to love it more.
Blimey, we're actually agreeing for once. I'm going to give it a 5 as well.
We got to stop doing this. We did this on the last one.
We don't normally agree, do we?
So that is it. That's Rose A Love Story, which was shown at the BFI London Film Festival 2020. We're still rumbling on, even though the festival's closed and finished. We've still got so many films to get through.
Peace.
Yeah, good to see you again, Dina. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe.